All right, good afternoon. The Arts Council from Monterey County welcomes you to our monthly online segment, Artist Spotlight. I am Karen Lee Garcia, Programs Director. And today I am so pleased to welcome Logan Norton, Executive Director of Sylvan Gallery and owner of Monterey Bay Art Installers, and Tawny Hoang, former student at Soledad High School and current freshman at UC Berkeley. Welcome you both to our program today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Logan Norton is an independent documentarian storyteller who draws from a background in anthropology to explore the development of culture, specifically relating to our sense of home. Logan has taught photography at San Jose State University and at a number of workshops in the United States and Mexico. He is a partner at Capturing SMA Photography Workshops, a nonprofit analog photography education program that introduces young people in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, to the magic of film and the wonders of the darkroom. Logan is the executive director of Sylvan Gallery in San City, California, where he presents contemporary emerging artists whose work pushes the artistic boundaries of concept and physicality. Logan also serves on the Board of Trustees at the Center for Photographic Art in Carmel, California, where he currently holds the position of secretary. Logan was a recipient of the Arts for MC Local Emerging Artist Program grant in the spring of 2017 and the spring of 2019. And Tawny Hoang is a proud Vietnamese American who has come to accept herself with the help of art. She is a first year at UC Berkeley who is intended to become a performance studies major. She is involved in the Vietnamese Student Association, Outlet Berkeley, and CalPERG, the California Public Interest Research Group. She uses photography to keep her love for art alive while sharing her love with it by contributing to one of her school's literary magazines, GIA Mag. So, welcome you both to our program today. We, in particular, and I'll speak about a little bit more later, wanted you both on our program to talk about your experience applying to our two different grant programs. And I'm going to start with Logan to share a little bit more about your experience of applying to our local emerging artist program, otherwise known as LEAP.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. And again, really excited to be here to talk about the LEAP grant. It's something that was incredibly helpful in my art career, and we can talk about that more. And I know a lot of other artists who've received that grant and been able to do some really cool stuff with it. So it's a really amazing thing that the Arts Council does and offers for this community. So as far as the application for that grant, it's pretty straightforward. There's a couple of prompts that you need to answer about your own art practice and your position within the community, which is one of the aspects of that grant that I think is so important to highlight how artists are engaging with their community. And then there's some questions about emerging artists. Essentially, how do you define yourself, and where do you see yourself in your own career? Which can be a little bit of an intimidating thing, I think, for a young artist or emerging artist to consider. But I think there's a lot of diversity available within that term of emerging artist. A lot of people probably think about it as a young artist, but a lot of people become an emerging artist later in their life or in different time periods. So I think that's something for people to keep in mind, that it's not just for young students. So but the process was pretty straightforward. And then
and what did you end up you applied twice and received it twice. So great to share with the audience, what did you end up doing with those grant awards?
Yeah. So one of the awards I used for materials and processing and all that kind of stuff for a project that I was working on, a photography project. So buying film, buying paper, buying chemicals, buying mat boards, things like that. And so I used that and also the process. I was shooting a project in the Salinas Valley, so I was traveling a lot. There was a lot of driving and gas, and so I was able to use it for the actual process of creating the project. And then the second time that I got the grant, I used it for an exhibition. And I had that exhibition here at Sylvan Gallery before coming on to work as the director here. So it's a really interesting process to be in the position now where I'm getting to show the work of emerging artists in a place where I had the great opportunity to have an exhibition, and which was supported by a LEAP grant and allowed me to purchase materials for an exhibition too. So it's kind of full circle.
I was going to say it's a real full circle moment there for you. And Tawny, you were last year's Poetry Out Loud, our regional champion, and I'm just so happy to see you here online. One day we will meet in person. Everything's just been online, but we were just, very excited that you took that, championship for Soledad High School, and then you ended up applying for our college arts scholarship. And so if you can just share a little bit more about what that process was like for you. And then also, what did you end up doing with the scholarship?
Yeah, so the process for the scholarship was pretty straightforward. But it was really unique in the terms of it mainly being about your your self-interest in art. So it was really nice. It asked about sample pieces that you have and your community involvement, your educational goals within what you're trying to do with it, with this scholarship, and just a little bit about yourself. And one thing that I just did with the main thing I did with my scholarship is just help pay for my college and going into UC Berkeley, and creating a better atmosphere for myself within trying to create a career for myself in performance studies.
Right. That's awesome. I was really excited to see that you landed on performance studies. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with that. And so, Logan, we want to get into a little bit deeper into, what you've been able to do at Sylvan Gallery. Your LEAP sponsored exhibit, The Threshold, in 2019, and just being the executive director now. Can you talk a little bit more on how the LEAP grant affected your art career, kind of like what you've seen yourself being able to do from that point to now? You kind of touched on it, but if you want to dive deeper.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so in 2019, when I had the Thresholds exhibition, that was really the point during that exhibition when Barney and Lexanne, who are just incredible people that have started Sylvan Gallery and have run it for a long time. During that show, we had some discussions about their process of having exhibitions, how it was working for them, some of the challenges, time and energy that were required to do it. And so they actually proposed to me that I take over and run the gallery during that show, which was a pretty incredible opportunity, and one that wouldn't probably have happened if it wasn't for the exhibition that I really was able to put on because of the LEAP grant. I mean, I paid for all the supplies for that exhibition with that. So it was, I think there's a pretty direct line from applying for and receiving that grant to where I am now. So Sylvan Gallery, we have between 6 and 7 exhibitions each year. And we present local, mostly local, I mean regionally local, mostly emerging artists, but it's all kind of contemporary work that there aren't a lot of other outlets for in this area. So we've had some group shows. I'm trying to have a group student show each year. It's been a little bit of a challenge with COVID because the studio classes haven't been meeting in person. So it's hard for students to make work and then have an exhibition. But in the future, we had one in 2020 for an MPC alternative process photography class, which was really, really cool to see.
And how many students participated in that?
There were 24 students in that exhibition. Yeah. And another sort of full circle moment is the teacher for that class is Greg Metler. He teaches at MPC and at Carrillo. And actually, as you can see over my shoulder, we have an exhibition of Greg Metler's work in the gallery right now. So
awesome.
2 years later, we present his work after showing one of his classes shows. So I think it shows the deep roots we have and try to plant in the community. And so we have Greg show up right now, which is really incredible show. All kind of, it's photography based, but there's a lot of installation work. There's a moving, it's almost like a moving photograph piece. It's a little video piece, but it's very reminiscent of old style photography processes that allowed for moving images. So it's a really interesting piece to see.
We're going to show a little bit more to the audience of your work. We're going to just pull up some images right now if you want to let us know what we're seeing.
Yeah, so at the beginning of COVID, I started working on a project that is shot in Seaside. And one of the things that I was really interested in during that time was just trying to understand this new sort of isolated experience that we're having, where at the beginning of COVID, shelter in place, it was like, you don't go outside, you go outside if you need to, but there's no public gathering. So much of it became sort of an isolated experience. And so I took that time to walk around. The evenings, the nights kind of felt appropriate to that experience.
And is this picture right here, is this photo taken in Seaside too, or is this in another location?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
It was
there's a lot of these little alleyways around Broadway that you don't see until you kind of go out there and sort of explore. But I was really drawn to this sort of idea that we're all in this new phase where we're at home a lot more than we might have been before. And we're sort of, there's this sense that we're kind of on our own in a way that we hadn't experienced before, or at least I hadn't experienced before. So that was what I was aiming for with this little body of work. And it's an ongoing project. And I think it may end up being something interesting to explore, sort of the contrast between that early COVID time and where we're at now.
Right. And then we're moving into some more portraits right now.
Yeah, so part of the project that I did on Sand City was exploring sort of the more personal connection that I have to it. I've lived in Sand City for 10 years, and I have a lot of friends and fellow artists who live here and work here. And there's a lot of changes happening in Sand City as far as like some big construction projects. So it was interesting for me to kind of capture a snapshot of the city as it is right now. And exploring some of the character and the uniqueness that the city has to offer. And portrait photography became one part of that process. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. I think there's a lot of storytelling to be made in portraiture. And it's something that I've always loved, to kind of take people into a studio and sort of isolate them, but to be able to capture some of their more personal characteristics in that way.
Yeah. Those I'm loving seeing the images of people I've interacted with in different projects too.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. And then there's another little body of work in here from some work just shot kind of on the roads. I did a workshop in Santa Fe a few years ago, and then I took some time to road trip around New Mexico up to Taos and around. And that's just an element of photography that I've always loved. It's probably my favorite part of photography, is just hitting the road, going out and exploring new places, just roaming around with the camera, kind of trying to capture a little sense of some place that's different and unfamiliar to me. So that's probably it's kind of like my happy place with photography, like escape.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Yeah, and we'll definitely be encouraging people to follow you online, because I do, and I have enjoyed seeing your adventures and wondering where is he?
Thank you. Yeah,
where's Logan right now?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the gallery.
This is a picture of the front of the gallery. There's actually a little temporary stage set up in this picture for the opening of Greg Metler's show. We had some live bands out there. We had a whole kind of a little block party for it. And you can see Greg here inside his exhibition in the back room. These are all little cyanotypes he made. Each one of these is a hand-coded, hand-printed cyanotype that 909 or something like that of them actually, once they were digitally scanned, they became the kind of moving photograph film that's in the back room of the gallery.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that show is up until April 2nd?
April 2nd, yeah.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Yeah, April 2nd.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And Tawny, we want to hear from you now. You're continuing your higher education in the arts. So tell us a little bit more about your studies, what you're hoping to accomplish at UC Berkeley.
Yeah, so I am, as I said, I am a performance studies major, and it's a really fun time to explore the different meanings of performance and what there is to performance other than just acting. And it's really nice. I didn't really think too much into it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in to performance studies to become an actress. But looking further into it, I found that I've had more passions within behind the scenes work of doing prop design and doing of wanting to do prop design and scenic design. Like, even though my heart will always be in acting and of course like reminiscing on Poetry Out Loud and doing monologues, I found a sense of joy in doing prop design and hoping to expand my knowledge within that world further when I am further into my education.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, coming to UC Berkeley, it's a very different experience from what the Central Coast has to offer, and it has been pretty eye-opening, and it has also like made me see like, oh, what Berkeley has that is very similar to the Central Coast, and what the Central Coast has over Berkeley, of course.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Like nothing's gonna beat the wharf. Nothing will. But yeah, coming into UC Berkeley and expanding my knowledge within art and gaining that experience and hoping to further my education within performance, and whether it be acting or be prop design, has been really like securing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see, just follow you along and see how your everything just evolves for you. I'm just very excited for the next couple of years. And
Thank
then
you.
after you graduate and everything. And we're going to show some images of your photography. So if you can talk through what we're seeing here. And also just, even if you want to talk a little bit more too about how you work with the literary magazine.
Okay. So here in this photo, this was me basically practicing back into my photography skills, because since starting college, I haven't had much time to take photos, sit down and edit, and really like appreciate photography again. So one day I was like, well, I have a lot of free time right now. Might as well just walk around Berkeley, because I have only been like around like the university part and haven't really tried to explore much outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this was me basically exploring Berkeley while also getting back into like one of my favorite hobbies and interests, which is photography.
That's
And here's
awesome.
just me practicing my macro images with this flower.
That's awesome.
And here you can see so I really like graphic design and like just doing like random cool things with photography and like how I can manipulate it within editing. And here you can see me like with makeup on and just using like Photoshop to manipulate this image into this like weird, like very abstract kind of piece.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's like telling multiple stories of like who you are. That's how I look at it.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, that piece I was like I posted it around Valentine's Day, and I was like, oh, let me make a piece about like how like love is in different interpretations and like
Mm-hmm.
have different faces to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here, this is also me like going around Berkeley and taking photos. And I just found this really cool like church parking sign. I was like, wow, that is like, I was never in this part of town before. And I just saw this sign. I was like, that's a really, really nice sign. I really want to take a picture of this. And yeah, like uh I took photos of Berkeley, not just one to have a better understanding of the place, but also to help myself feel more included within the community by immersing myself within the small things that could be art around me.
Okay, you and Logan are on the same page in terms of finding, like, your interest in talking about like place and home. Um,
Mhm.
it's very, very interesting that we chose both of you guys without knowing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a yeah, like the sense of home and feeling of like or the sense of security and understanding a new place and
Mhm.
making that your new home has been a real has been like a challenge for me in the beginning, but since like the past couple months and especially taking these photos, it has really helped me feel assimilated, or has really made me feel a little more connected within the community.
That's great.
And like this is from a school, like I didn't even know we had like I think this is the elementary or middle school here, and I
Hmm.
didn't even know we had like this middle school. So I went by and I was like, wow, this is really cool, and these signs look really nice.
Right on campus, you're saying? It's like right near the campus, the Berkeley
E-
campus?
yeah, it's like a couple streets away. It's like 20 minutes walk from the UC Berkeley campus, like main
Got it.
campus. Yeah, and like I was like walking through the residential neighborhoods because I'm also looking for housing with my friends. So I was like, wow, like like thinking like just thinking about the future. I was like, wow, this could be us. Like we could be living here. Like this could be like our new home, and like
Mm-hmm.
just like visualizing and seeing like how things could play out for me in the future too, with just walking around these neighborhoods.
That's great. It's so beautiful there.
Yeah, it's super like walking around like the architecture is just like it's so beautiful. Like architectural photography is my favorite, and like doing it is just so like nice. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love looking at like the different like styles of like architecture, and like how it's like architecture I feel like is one of the things that can be photographed in like the most beautiful way, and like no matter what angle you take it in, it will always have like a different story to it, especially since like these are residential like buildings. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's always such a story to like these buildings, because the you see the outside but you don't know how the inside looks like, and you just take in the beauty of the outside, but there might be ugly or beauty within the inside of this building, but you
Yeah,
just don't know because you're just seeing the outside.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is like there's like and I don't know why, but there's so many roundabouts in Berkeley, and like that photo before was just like part of it, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really beautiful how they take something that's like slightly like just normal and like kind of like inconvenient, to be honest, um and like making it into art and making it beautiful and have a part in the community.
Right. I think this is the last image here. I believe so. Another building of the backside of a building. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the backside of a building that I
Mm-hmm.
live pretty close to, actually.
Mm-hmm. I love that colors, those colors. Yeah, so I appreciate you both, sharing more about, what you've been working on, and we do want to know, what's next for both of you. I think for Logan, we have some more images just to quickly share. And
Yeah, coming up next at the gallery, we have an exhibition from an artist named Elena Rios. And so you can see a few installation piece images here. Again, it's photography. We're definitely not a photography gallery. We show all kinds of art, but it happens to be that couple in a row here. But her work also really is a lot about the installation and about the process of showing work. So you'll see
mhm,
some really cool images here, kind of behind the scenes look at how her work is installed. That's a big piece that she hand cut all of these little tiny sections out of, basically cut all the flowers out of a piece, talking about the way that sort of ecotourism negatively impacts the environment around it, with the
mhm,
super blooms and the flowers, and sort of the way that that can be problematic for small communities. So her work is very conceptual, but it's also very beautiful. There's a lot of really aesthetically incredible pieces. There's a little installation inside the gallery there that will also be here. So it's going to be a really exciting show. It's really something to come see and experience it.
and when will that open again?
So that opens on April 19th. That's
Okay, April 19th. Great.
It's April, I guess it's April 16th. It's 2 weeks after Greg's show closes on the 2nd.
Okay, great. We'll be sure to make sure we advertise that out to our audience and our community.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then Tawny, what's next for you? What's after this semester, or I don't know if you have anything planned during the summer months you want to share.
Ooh, so basically, I don't have anything quite planned this summer, but this semester, I am working with my new literary magazine here, GM Magazine. They've been here for a while. I mean, new because I used to be in the Soledad Highs Literary Magazine, and now I'm in a new one. Yeah, but we are currently working on a project about Valentine's Day, actually, and of like the beginnings of love, in the midst of it, and how like the effects can happen afterwards, and how it just basically plays out. And I'm helping doing some of, well, one of the things we're doing is basically writing down some letters, and just having heartfelt conversations with ourselves, and just being open and putting that into the book, while also um, next to it having like photo shoots of what is love in the midst, even especially queer love, and
Mhm.
how that how that plays into just the effects of love, how sadly queer love isn't, it's on slightly on a different thing because of how stigmatized it is. And we're just trying to capture that and how we feel about it. And then we're gonna do in the end of the aftermath of love, and how it can really evolve into something beautiful, or it can evolve into something that just shapes you as a person.
Mhm. That's great. When is that issue coming out?
We're hoping to get this issue out within the next 2 months, basically.
Okay, awesome. That's so great. And I just want to thank you both so much for your time today, and to share with our audience that the upcoming deadlines for the College Arts Scholarship is Sunday, April 3rd. And then for the LEAP grant, it's Sunday, April 17th. So we hope that this conversation inspires more people in Monterey County to apply for our grant opportunities. And thank you both so much. And I know that we can find Logan at logannorton.com, and on Facebook, Logan Norton, and also on IG at Logan_Norton. And then Tawny, I don't know if you have an IG that you want to throw out there, that we can find you.
Yeah, so I have two accounts in one of them is TAWNHI, and then the other one is NHI Noted.
Okay, great. We will put that into our chat so
Cool.
people can come and find both of you. And thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of
Yeah,
course.
thanks for having us.
And so stay tuned for another Artist Spotlight on Wednesday, April 15th. And be sure to comment and share on this Artist Spotlight right now. And to learn more about the Arts Council for Monterey County, visit us at www.arts4mc.org. And thank you both so much again. And hopefully see you guys soon.
Okay, thanks.
You have a great day.